My name is Sheila Khoo. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own cloth mask.
Items for making the mask include 100% cotton fabric. Start by using a diagram for the sewing pattern, cut it out, and trace it out on a piece of cardboard so that you will have a sturdier template to work with when you're tracing the outline of the mask on fabric. Indicate the top part of the mask because the top and the bottom curved edges are different in dimensions. Also indicate the folds for the ear loop seam and the inner layer seam. The inner layer will serve as a pocket for the filter. To help you visualize, this is how the final product will look like, and this is the part of the mask that corresponds to the template. Now to draw the line that will be the fold for the ear loop seam. The line for the ear loop seam fold should be 2.5 centimeters from the straight edge. Again, to help you visualize, this is how the final product will look like. Start with the piece of fabric that will form the outer layer of the mask. The dimensions are 36 cm by 20 cm. Fold it in half with the right sides of the cloth facing each other. Next, take two pieces of 20 cm by 12 cm pieces of fabric. This will form the inner layer of the mask. Place them together with the right sides facing each other. Now place the inner layer on top of the outer layer. Now pin the fabric together and place the template on top. Align the left edge of the inner layer fabric with the fold for the inner layer on the template. Trace the outline on the fabric using a pencil. Cut out the pattern for the mask on the fabric. It will be useful if you have a pair of sharp scissors that are meant for cutting fabric. Remember to mark out the top part of the mask on the right side of both the outer layer and the inner layer. For each piece of the inner layer fabric, with the right side facing down, make a double fold of 0.5 cm along the straight edge. Sew along the fold to prevent the edges from fraying. Pin the two pieces of the inner layer fabric together with the right side facing each other. Then sew the curved edge 0.5 cm from the edge. Cut away excess thread and make small little snips along the curved edge. This will help the material from not bunching up when you turn it over. Turn the fabric over and with the right side facing up, sew along both sides of the seam, 0.2 cm from the seam. Then set it aside. This inner layer will form the lining of the mask. The method for sewing the outer layer is similar. Again, pin the fabric for the outer layer together and sew along the curved edge. Then make snips along the curved seam and fold down the sides of the seam. Turn the fabric over and with the right side facing up, sew along both sides of the seam. Now, to make the inner layer pocket, which will help to hold the filter in place, you will need two pieces of 19 cm by 11 cm pieces of fabric. Make a double fold along the edge and sew it up. This is to prevent the edges from fraying. Now to assemble the parts of the mask together. Pin the outer and inner layers together with the right sides facing each other. This is where the arrows come in handy to help you determine which is the top part of the mask that will sit on your nose and the lower part that will go under your chin. Pin the inner and outer layers of fabric together. Now pin the fabric which will form the inner pocket. This is the top part of the mask, and this is how the mask will look like once you have sewn the pieces together. Use tacking pins to hold the fabric pieces together, and you can start sewing up the top part of the mask, followed by the bottom part of the mask. Take your time if you're new to sewing, because it's not that easy to sew along the curved edge. Cut out the excess pieces of fabric . And again, make little snips along the curved seams to prevent the material from bunching up once you turn it inside out. Flatten the seams so that it's easier for you to machine it. For the nose grip that will sit over your nose bridge, you can use paper fasteners. Cut them to size. You will need about 8 cm per mask. Insert this into the upper part of the mask and use tacking pins to hold it in place. Sew up the top part of the mask with a 0.75 cm seam allowance. This will help to hold the fastener in place. Sew up the bottom of the mask with a narrower seam allowance of 0.25 cm. The fastener is actually inside the mask, and to hold it in the seam allowance and keep it in place so that it doesn't move about, we will make stitches on either side of the paper fastener. Now to sew the ear loop seams on each side of the mask, make a double fold and sew along the inner edge. Now for the ear loops, you can use elastic cloth cord. Use a lighter to lightly burn the ends to prevent it from fraying, or you can use nail polish to coat the ends. Then use a yarn needle or a hairpin to thread the ear loops. Tie up the ear loops and adjust them according to your preference. Don't forget to use filters. You can use dried wet wipes for the filter. Insert them into the pocket of the mask and conceal the edges by stuffing them under the flap. Now don't forget that you should wash your mask with every use and also change the filter. Stay safe and happy sewing!